and that your ultimate is gonna wreck. Thanatos is in the air right now, so I'm gonna turn over towards the Thanatos. So somebody like a Sobek, who actually has a lot of sustain in his kit, he's probably gonna go a Vamp Shroud. He's gonna have the Siphoning Strike, right? Buddy, we are here with your Osiris solo guide. So we're gonna go a little bit fancy today. I'm gonna show you guys kind of what's up with the Bluestone Pendant. So we're gonna be grabbing ourselves a Bluestone Pendant, a Chalice of Healing, and then a couple of multi-pots, as well as our Blink. So right now in solo lane, you're really seeing two major starter items being picked up, and both of them have recently been buffed / changed. One of them is Bluestone Pendant. Bluestone Pendant now has an additional 5 power on it at the start, and more importantly at the end of the game. This used to be an additional 25 right here on the damage, but now it's 75. It is a lot of bonus damage. It is particularly a lot of bonus damage if you have high CDR and low ability cooldowns, because you get to spam that ability damage over and over and over and over again. So you're seeing Bluestone pop up as a very viable, aggressive solo lane item. The other item that people are buying is the Warrior's Axe. Warrior's Axe also got changed. It now scales that percent HP seal off of your protections. It's like 5% base now. And then it scales up based off of 2% of your total protections. So you can get a lot of value out of that item as well. So what I'm going to do with the Bluestone is I'm really going to be focusing on my opponent, because I want to get that Bluestone damage proccing on them as much as possible. So I'm already going to get very good damage out on Farse, who now has a Mannequin Scepter. So Bluestone is popping up on a lot of characters, and we're not going to be building a lot of damage. We're actually going to be building a lot of tankiness, like you would expect from your solo laner. The thing about the Bluestone is, because it gives such a big flat HP damage value, we actually have huge kill potential with it. So I'm actually going to blink in right here, look for the AMA, hit him with a little 1-2 follow-up combo, and hopefully an auto attack is going to be enough to grab the kill, and it is going to be enough to get the kill. So we're going to be abusing that 75 bonus damage that we get, plus % of their current health, and going for a tanky build with a lot of CDR. So for our leveling, we leveled up our 2 first at level 1, just to get those nice AoE Bluestone procs onto those jungle camps. Then we grabbed our sickle at level 2, finally getting our Judgment Tether at level 4, and we'll get our ulti at level 5. My level order that I prefer on Osiris is 4, 2, 1, 3. You can also rank up the tether if you want to earlier, depending on when the team fights are exactly happening. Some people like to get that tether ranked up for that % reduction. This % reduction on the Osiris 3 is actually really, really good. But I find that as a solo laner, I'm more likely to still be just kind of running on the map, looking at 1v1, 2v2s. And so I prefer the 4, 2, 1, 3 leveling order on Osiris. Also, some people like to level up the 1 first because it's got such low cooldown for the poke, but honestly, it's like the exact same damage as the 2, and the 2 is AoE once you factor in the time frame, so I prefer just to have the AoE damage for that lane clear.
Bye-bye now.
So I'm going to go ahead and back it up right here, and I'm actually going to take myself into the Ninja Tabi. The Ninja Tabi still, just because of Osiris's AoE autos. I like the AoE autos with the extra attack speed. You can go a Warrior Tabi here as well. I actually don't think Warrior Tabi is that bad on Osiris, especially if you are going to go this Bluestone path, and then the rest of the build is going to be a lot tankier. So we're gonna look at their composition really quick. They're running double magical, triple physical, and we are against a physical character, and they've got a physical jungler with the Thanatos. So physical defense is going to be my first concern. So I'm gonna get myself right into a mystical mail. Mystical mail is gonna give us a little bit more bonus damage. So we're gonna have a little bit of bonus damage from our Bluestone. Then we're gonna have a little bit of bonus damage from our mystical mail. Plus it's gonna give us a bunch of HP and physical protections for against this AMA and Thanatos. As soon as I can find wherever the heck mystical mail actually is. When you're on Osiris, make sure you're factoring in your auto attacks in between if you can. If the target is in range. I've got a Thanatos on his way to me right now, so I'm actually gonna try to fight this. So I'm gonna try to ulti on top of myself. Not quite gonna be able to land on it. Looks like Thana got scared there at the very end. And so he doesn't actually land on the ulti, which is fine. AMA used her ultimate anyway, so it ends up being a AMA Osiris ult and a Thanatos ult. So that's actually a 1-for-2 trade right there. Gonna go look towards their blue buff. I don't mind starting this round up, so I'm gonna use my 1, auto attack twice, and then go back into auto attacking. That is traditionally how you are going to fight on Osiris. 1, auto, 2, auto. You get those auto attacks off really fast because of Osiris's auto attack chain where he goes 0.51, and so it's just the most damage efficient way to do it. Once again, that is 1, auto, and then 2, auto. The reason why you do it in that particular order is because your 1 will slow the target, and then your 2 gives you bonus movement speed, but your 2 also is going to increase the slow, both the effect and the duration. So you always want to use your 1 first and then combine it with the 2. Osiris, pretty popular solo laner. He's dropped off a little bit in popularity. I'm going to save my point here at level 8 so I can get a point in my 2 and my ulti at level 9. He's dropped off in popularity a little bit ever since they made some of those like Death's Toll mannequins changes. A lot of people were like abusing like the Osiris Bellona's auto attack warriors at the start of the season, and some of them have started to drop off. They are still quite good. For those that have played against a Bellona lately, you're like, I don't know, man, doesn't feel like she's dropped off that much. And that's because they're still really good, even if you have to go a Bluestone or Warrior's Axe route, and you don't get as much value out of the Death Toll / Mannequin Scepters build like you used to. The newly buffed Bluestone is still going to be really nice on a lot of these gods as well, particularly Osiris, because yeah, it's this very low cooldown 1 that he just gets to spam over and over and over and over again. So I'm going to pop my 3 here onto the AMA, just kind of slow down a little bit of his damage, get some more poke out on him as he's getting over by his tower. I need to back up pretty soon anyway, so I don't mind if I take a little bit of damage here. I do want to be careful that I don't die, so I'm going to ulti over the end of this ulti. Unfortunately, I get into Thanatos threshold. I don't see him. Looks like he just died over in left lane, so it's got to be a little bit careful right there because I popped right into that threshold. Gonna try to keep him low. I do have the ability to fight this. Unfortunately, he's just gonna be able to dash back into his tower. So I'm gonna try to push past him right here. Thana's still gonna be dead for a couple of seconds. So if I can go for a proxy farm on this wave, unfortunately the minion aggro and Smite is really broken right now, so they don't group up entirely like they were supposed to. But now I'm gonna try to get out of here before the AMA comes on over to our blue. I get a full mystical mail, and I full cleared the wave behind the tower, which means I'm not actually gonna miss out on any farm while I'm walking back to the lane, which is fantastic. That's one of the main reasons why you proxy farm. The 2 main reasons why you proxy farm in the solo: 1, so you don't miss out on any XP when you're coming back to the lane, and 2, so you can rotate without missing out on any XP. You want to maximize the amount of XP that you are actually getting. So if you can minimize the amount of XP you're losing on things like rotations, you're gonna be in a better spot. Now I do a lot of damage now, so I'm gonna get very aggressive on this AMA, try to body block his dash. I'm gonna land it. Now he is stunned, so I get a free slow off, and I should be able to go ahead and finish him up. So right there, I've got the Bluestone damage ticking. I've got the Mystical Mail damage ticking. I've got the defenses and the HP for against the AMA. Puts me into a really nice spot. And now I'm gonna have a nice XP advantage on top of everything else. So I will be able to continue to go this aggressive. For our matchups on Osiris, Osiris is a pretty fighting oriented solo laner. He likes to go for these boxing matches. So the characters that I personally don't like playing against on Osiris are the kinds of characters that you can't really outbox. Those being characters that play really far back or have a lot of built-in sustain. And I'm talking about consistent sustain, not something that your ultimate is gonna wreck. Thanatos is in the air right now, so I'm gonna turn over towards the Thanatos. So somebody like a Sobek, who actually has a lot of sustain in his kit, he's probably gonna go a Vamp Shroud. He's gonna have the Siphoning Strike, right? He just has this very consistent level of heal that makes it so all of your poke doesn't really mean anything. Somebody like a Chalk, who just kind of axes into the wave, and then he twos, and then he walks out, and he uses his little rain dance heal. Those kind of characters don't really let you thrive on Osiris, because a big part of Osiris is this poke. So characters that just kind of nullify the poke that you can do just make your laning phase so you probably aren't going to snowball quite as hard. You do want to go into those types of characters that like to fight, because Osiris is one of the best kind of just 1v1 fighters over in the solo lane. The only other character that could maybe give you a run for your money is a Bellona, but a lot of that times it's often going to come down to a pretty skill-based matchup. So I wouldn't be particularly afraid, but do note that Bellona is another one of those characters that really just like wants to go for that 1v1 fight. And notably, against a Kukulkan, as all solo laners know, you just have to be careful against the Kukulkan in the early game. That level 2 transformation situation can really get you into a lot of trouble. So you just need to be careful early game, but once you get out of that early game against the Kukulkan, you're actually not in a bad spot against him at all. Just watch out for that quick early transformation where he gets that massive power spike and he gets that built-in mystical mail just for existing. That's where you can get a lot of people in trouble. So I want to clear one more wave before I back, so that way I don't miss out on any XP. I need to back up and get my second active. Against this team, I've already got the blink right now. A beads actually would not be bad at all. So would a thorns would also be pretty good. I'm gonna go a little bit safer here. I'm gonna get myself the beads, and I'm gonna put myself into a gladiator shield. Gladiator shield is gonna start giving me some cooldown, and we're gonna be going this more ability-based build. I'm just using the Ninja Tabi to give me some auto attack speed. Everything else is gonna be basically based around abilities because of our Bluestone Pendant. So Gladiator Shield gonna give me 10% CDR. And it's gonna give me some additional damage on my abilities based off of our tankiness. And we're gonna be getting very, very tanky. For my next item, I'm gonna be getting myself a Genji's Guard. Genji's Guard gonna give us those magical defenses, help us deal with this Kabrakan and the Discordia, while also giving us another 10% CDR, finishing up with a Pendant. Pendant gonna give us that cap CDR, plus we're gonna get a shield based off our protections. We're gonna be getting damage based off our protections. We've got a bleed around us going for the damage, and then we have the Bluestone Pendant, which is just gonna be giving us damage for using abilities, which we're gonna be able to use really often because we have max CDR. There is so much potential damage output right now from solo laners. So a quick little trick right here that I'm using on this AMA. Every time he goes to use his clear, I am throwing down my tether on top of him. Tether gives that damage reduction So every time he's trying to like use his 2 to clear the wave, I'm just throwing my damage reduction on him just to reduce the amount of damage that he does to the wave so he can't actually full lane clear it. It's not even necessarily about the sun, it's just about stopping him from getting any lane clear off.
You can't hide from the pain.
This is going to be particularly helpful against other gods, like a Bellona, right? Bellona, you can't necessarily interrupt her hammer, but you can throw down the tether on her when she hammers, so you can get some damage reduction on her, so she does less clear to the wave. Maybe has to use a couple extra auto attacks to clear it. Now I'm going to go get myself a little totem, and I can probably start looking at the scorpion. Really ought to get it down for my team at this point. Thanatos is low over mid. I'm not going to rotate that. Just going to pop myself a little chalice. 1 auto, 2 auto, 1 auto, 2 auto. Abusing that little built-in Osiris attack speed chain. Heading back over to the wave, trying to see if this blue buff is up. I also need to start buying some more wards now that I've opted to kill the fire giant. I need to be responsible for warding it. So I'm going to walk directly at this Thanatos. He is going to be my main target here. I do think I can kill him and then probably ulti a way out of this. So because I am against 2 characters of the same damage type, you can see that I doubled up on my defenses. I went for the double physical defense here first with the Mystical Mare and the Gladiator Shield. And that's because solo lane, physical damage, jungler, physical damage. The first people that I'm going to see for the first 15 minutes of the game are always going to be that physical damage. But now I need to start building into a Genji's guard, get some magical damage, because I'm going to be encountering this Discordia, who is doing the most damage on their team. For Osiris, we talked about kind of our combo with Osiris, but that is traditionally either using your blink or your ultimate to get into range, and then using the other one to chase the kill at the very end of the fight if they happen to get away. After you blink or ulti initiate on the fight, you're going to follow up with your 1, slow down the target, then your 2 auto attacks, then your 2, which is going to speed you up, and once again slow down your target, trying to extend out the slow that you get from this ability. Thanatos making his way back over here. That's okay for me. I'm going to go ahead and throw down that tether so we get some damage reduction on out. I'm looking right at the Thana. Now he's going to ulti up into the air. I've got my beads at the ready, so that way I can beads and ulti right on out of this so we can finish up this kill onto the Loki, or excuse me, onto the Thana, and my Loki comes over to help me out right there. Now Cabrakan is on his way over, so now I gotta be very careful, because this is where I can get myself into a lot of trouble, because Cabrakan does have that magical damage, but I can slow him down a whole lot right now, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to kill him, but we are gonna be able to kind of back up. Gonna get out a deep ward right here so we can see when they're coming, and I need to get out a ward for my team over here on that fire giant pyromancer area. Because I killed that scorpion. Once that scorpion is down, you need to make sure it is warded 100% of the time. Not uncommon right now for fire giants to be done before the 20-minute marker. So you can't just be like, oh, it's 17 minutes into the game. They're not going to do the fire giant, especially depending on their team comp. Like, they've got an AMA. AMA burns down objectives with the team, especially if you pair it with somebody like a Merlin or an Anubis or something. Speak of the devil, they are actually on the Pyromancer right now, so I'm going to start heading that way. Got my Blink 2 at the ready just in case, and we do manage to get them off that. Now I'm actually going to keep chasing this. We've got that warded right here, so I'm going to run straight at middle lane. Looks like he probably knows. I'm going to hold my 1 till after the dash if I can. Not going to be able to, so I'm going to be able to follow with that 2 after the dash. Use my tether to hopefully see him in stealth. Gonna have to follow up, try to get him with my ulti. Unfortunately, he actually gets out of the range. I'm very surprised that he got out of the range of my tether. I thought my tether was gonna stun him right there, but he got out just at the absolute last second. And so he doesn't actually get hit by that stun. Now here at level 18, I'm gonna go ahead and wait for my Bluestone before I buy my next item. Only need about 1.5 levels and 700 gold. So I'm gonna go ahead and wait to finish up my starter item here. And a lot of our damage is gonna come online from the upgrading of that Bluestone. Because you go from this 25 physical damage, which at this point of the game is basically nothing. It's a lot actually at the start of the game, but now it's basically nothing. And then it gets upgraded to that 75 plus current health as physical damage. This really starts to add up in the damage department very, very fast, especially against squishier characters where that 75 flat damage ratio is a really big deal. Got myself a sentry ward, just in case we need it over by the fire pyromancer area. We gotta see if we can get ourselves this level 20 a little bit sooner than later. I will luckily also have cap CDR with this enhanced blue buff while I am waiting on getting that Pridvin online. So right now on their team, it looks like they've got a Medusa and a Discordia doing a lot of damage. They've got Oni waves everywhere, so I need to go deal with the Oni creeps over in right before I can rotate over and help the team, because I don't want these creeps to push in and get free towers. So my job in these team fights is going to be just to run at the backline. My job as the solo laner is to get all up in the face of the targets that are doing the most damage. So Medusa is going crit, which makes me want a spectral armor a little bit. So maybe if the game goes on long enough, I would get myself a nice spectral armor in place of my boot. Trying to keep this pressure onto the Discordia. Gonna ulti right on top of him. We are gonna be able to put him down early, which is nice. Gonna pop my beads right here. We'll run right at the Medusa. Gonna use my 2 just because I can use it to get in range. Then I'm gonna follow up with my 1 for the slow. We should be able to bring down this Medusa, and now I need to get back over towards my team with that Thanatos being my main target right now. Unfortunately, I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep this Terra alive, but I am gonna try my absolute darkness. I'm gonna blink into this. I can't really get onto the Thanatos because he's just a little bit too far. I'm trying to get myself over to him, but his scythe is gonna come back up and probably be able to kill us. That was actually a really good play right there from the Kabrak and keeping me CC'd for like that entire duration. And we're just not quite level 20 yet, so we can't get that Bluestone ranked up where we're gonna get so much of our damage value. So right there, we basically did exactly what the solo laner is supposed to do. Step 1, we run into the Discordia, we put the Discordia down. Step 2, we run at the Medusa, and we put the Medusa down. Those are those 2 major damage dealers, and so that's who we're running at for the rest of the game. The game is basically just going to come down to if we run at their backline and kill them, and they run at our backline and kill them, then it's gonna be the frontline boys going against each other. So it's gonna be if we can keep up against the Kabrak and AMA with the Terra Osiris. And that's going to be a bit of a hard matchup. So right now we've got 2 people over in left lane. They need to be careful not to show themselves. They've got all 5 members grouped up over by fire. We talked about how they can burn fire extremely fast. Our Vulcan is still shoving over in left lane. This is really bad positioning from him. He should be coming over this way. We're getting lucky right now that they are not doing the fire giant. They had him on the mini-map. Because of the minions that he was clearing, so that they knew that the Vulcan, who was really our objective securer / stealer, was not anywhere near the objective. So we did get pretty lucky right there.
You can't hide from me. You can't hide from the pain.
Gotta see if I can get this little ward before he can. I can. I gotta be a little bit careful over here. I get a nice Genji's guard proc. I have to go ahead. Ulti right on out of this one. Kabrakan uses his ultimate right there. So this actually is not the worst case scenario. I would love to be able to back up, get ourselves another sentry ward, and finish that Bluestone brooch. Meanwhile, working
Suffering.
on that Pridvin. So that way I can start ulting into fights more often. I ulti into the fight. I get the Pridvin procs. Now I've got a bonus little shield. Help keep me alive. Cupid is over left lane. He probably also should have been near the fire giant. But at this point, he should probably just keep shoving left lane. It's a little bit late for him to start backing up. At some point, if you're going to split push, you need to just kind of commit to split pushing. He probably could have gotten that tier 2 tower right there for free. I'm going to put some pressure on this tier 1 tower in the mid lane. They could technically be doing fire giant right now. We don't even know. It looks like they are, so I'm going to try to get in around the back. And they're going to start going for this fight instead. Going to get rid of those vines right there. They actually kept hearing the fire giant going on the back. So they actually were doing it that entire time. So now I'm just going to try to quickly get myself over to this Medusa. Unfortunately, I get hit by a golden apple from Discordia from downtown. Looks like they reset pretty hard right there. And my beads didn't go off. A bit of a smite. Double whammy right there, and it looks like our backline is losing 4v2. So at this point in the game as Osiris, there's not really much you can do as a solo laner. Your job is just going to be running at those backline characters. So in this case, it's that Medusa and that Discordia, and I'm going to keep running at them. And at the end of the day, if your team isn't winning the 4v2, then your team isn't winning the 4v2, and you're just simply not going to win the game of Smite. All you can do is develop some zoning techniques, put some space between your team and their team. But at the end of the day, if you're developing the space and your team is just not winning the 4v2, then you're just not going to win the Smite game. They could probably go for the Titan right now, and it looks like they might. So I'm gonna have to ulti out of this one right here. They grabbed the mid Phoenix. If I was them, I would just go ahead and kill the Titan right now. It looks like they're gonna go for that left T2. There's nothing that we can do in terms of defending at this point. Their team has the superior levels. They've got the superior items right now in terms of their build, and they are just simply playing better as a team. So right now, it's just kind of us waiting for this game to end. Our Phoenix defense is okay with a Cupid and a Vulcan. Unfortunately, our Vulcan is one of our lowest levels, so we don't really have any magic damage on our team right now, which has allowed them to really focus in too on like the physical defense, minimizing how strong like me, Cupid, and Loki can do, because they knew that the Vulcan would not be that much of an impact on the game because he is so far behind. So at this point, all we do right here, we grab ourselves a little bit of XP, we try to get ourselves into a Pridvin, and then we just go for one last little defense over in the left lane, which I can't imagine is gonna go very well. But we will do what we are supposed to do, which is dive at the back line and try to make some distance for our team. We shall take a gander. Oh, see if we can't help our Cupid get out of this one by getting rid of some of those walls. Not gonna be able to help him get out of this one. Now it is already a 5v4 situation with the fire giant, and they're gonna be able to go ahead and run this one down. So, in this game, basically all that happened is over in the solo lane. We started to win the solo lane pretty hard. So they committed to not focusing on solo anymore. The Thana would come over, he would get killed a couple of times. So they basically just gave up on the solo lane. They said, hey, we're not going to win that lane, so let's focus on winning the other lanes instead. So they start putting a lot more pressure in the mid lane and the duo lane. Vulcan gets really far behind. Now we don't have any magic damage on our team. Because we don't have any magic damage on our team, they can focus on building things like a lot of physical defense, which allows them to then counter the rest of the people on our team, guys. And that is our Osiris, a solo lane guide. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.